Hey, have you ever felt like your life's stuck in a rut and then someone or something comes along and flips everything upside down? That's exactly what happened to me. My life was calm, predictable, like a quiet river flowing through a sleepy town in Maine until my neighbor walked into it. What happened next was unexpected, thrilling, and a reminder that it's never too late to feel truly alive. Before I dive in, if you love stories about life surprises and a touch of romance, stick with me, and let's share this journey. Let's keep exploring these tales together. At 48, I thought I had my life figured out. My days were a cycle of chores and quiet evenings at home in Portland, Maine, where the salty sea breeze whispers through the pines. I didn't mind the solitude like a lighthouse standing alone against the crashing waves, but sometimes in the stillness of the night, I craved the version of myself I used to be, a wild, adventurous woman who lived with an open heart, her spirit as free as the gulls soaring over the coast. When Noah moved in next door, I didn't think much of it at first. He was young, maybe 26, with a magnetic energy that seemed to draw everyone to him like a bonfire on a chilly Maine night. We started with polite hellos, the occasional wave when he carried groceries or tinkered with his car, his easy smile catching the sunlight like the harbor's ripples. Our first real conversation happened on a crisp fall afternoon. I was struggling to haul a heavy bag of soil to my garden when he appeared out of nowhere. "Need a hand?" he asked, flashing a boyish grin that could melt ice. "I won't say no," I replied, a bit embarrassed by my struggle, my cheeks warming like the amber leaves falling around us. He lifted the bag effortlessly, carrying it to my garden bed. As we worked side by side, we started talking. He told me about his new job, his love for old movies, and his dream to travel the world. I found myself laughing more than I had in weeks, my heart lighter than the autumn breeze. Noah started dropping by more often after that. Sometimes it was under the guise of helping with a chore, a squeaky door hinge, a burnt-out light bulb, his presence like a warm tide washing over my routine. Other times it was just to chat, his voice a melody that made my quiet house feel alive. One evening he brought over a cake he'd baked. "I made too much," he said with a shrug, though the way he looked at me suggested otherwise, his eyes holding a spark that made my pulse quicken like a storm brewing offshore. We sat on my porch sharing slices as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of cranberry and gold. The conversation flowed easily, laughter punctuating the quiet hum of the neighborhood. "You have a beautiful laugh," he said, his voice softer, more serious, like a secret shared in the twilight. I felt a warmth rise within me, something I hadn't felt in years, like a dormant ember flaring to life in my chest. The turning point came on a rainy evening. Noah stopped by to return a book I'd lent him, and we ended up talking at the doorstep, rain pouring down like a curtain, creating an intimate cocoon around us, as if the world had paused, holding its breath for us. "Stay for dinner," I said impulsively, my heart daring me to leap into the unknown. He hesitated only a moment before nodding. "I'd like that." I cooked while he kept me company, leaning against the counter, his easy charm filling the kitchen like the aroma of rosemary and garlic. We talked about everything and nothing, a quiet tension humming between us, unacknowledged but undeniable, like the crackle of a fire waiting to ignite. As we sat down to eat, the air felt electric, charged with a possibility that made my skin tingle. His hand brushed mine when he passed the salt, and I felt a jolt that stole my breath like a spark leaping from a live wire across a stormy sea. After dinner, we moved to the living room, the rain slowing to a gentle drizzle, its soft patter blending with the crackle of the fireplace, wrapping us in a warm, timeless glow that felt like a dream. "You're amazing." You know that Noah said, his voice low and sincere like a melody played on a single string resonating deep within me. I laughed softly, shaking my head. "I barely know myself." "I know enough," he said, leaning closer, his gaze steady, pulling me in like the tide under a full moon. His hand found mine, the touch light, but deliberate like the first brush of dawn on a sleeping world. Our eyes locked, and in that moment something shifted like a door creaking open to a forgotten room in my heart. When his lips met mine, it was like the years melted away, time folding in on itself like waves crashing on the shore. His kiss was slow, cautious, as if savoring every second, each moment a delicate brushstroke on a canvas of longing. His hands cupped my face, his thumb tracing delicate patterns on my cheek. Each touch sending shivers through me, awakening parts of me I thought I'd buried beneath the sands of time. I felt the warmth of him through his shirt, my fingers fumbling with the buttons, slipping them free to reveal the smooth planes of his chest, his skin like sun-warmed driftwood under my fingertips. "You're incredible," he whispered, his lips grazing the line of my jaw, then drifting softly to my neck. Each kiss a spark igniting a wildfire that roared through my veins. I leaned into him, my hands exploring the breadth of his shoulders, the strength of his back, feeling the quiet power beneath his skin like the steady pulse of the ocean. His arms wrapped around me, pulling me closer, as if afraid to let go, his embrace a harbor in the storm of my reawakening heart. The room seemed to shrink around us, the world outside fading into irrelevance, like a fog dissolving over the harbor at dawn. He slid the zipper of my dress down with a care that felt almost reverent, the fabric slipping from my shoulders in a soft whisper pooling at my feet like moonlight on a quiet sea. His gaze swept over me, a mix of admiration and desire that made my heart race like a gull soaring on an updraft. "You take my breath away," he whispered, his voice hoarse with emotion, raw and unguarded, like a sailor's confession to the stars. His hands traced the curve of my waist, his touch both gentle and sure, like an artist sculpting clay with devotion. As his fingers drew delicate patterns along my spine, I felt a warmth bloom in my chest, spreading through me like a wave, alive and unstoppable, like the tide claiming the shore. I reached for him, my hands slipping beneath the waistband of his jeans, feeling the taut muscles of his lower back. His breath hitched a soft sound that sent a shiver through me like the rustle of leaves in a quiet forest under moonlight. Guiding me to the couch, he gently pulled me down his body, following in a seamless motion like a river meeting the sea in a timeless dance. His lips found mine again, the kiss deepening a current pulling us under into a sea of sensation. His hands continued their exploration, every touch, every caress, a silent promise, a declaration of desire and reverence, each moment a vow etched in fire on my soul. He kissed a path down my collarbone, his lips warm and deliberate against my skin, leaving trails of heat like constellations across a night sky. My hands tangled in his hair, surrendering to the intensity of the moment, like a dancer lost in the music of her own heartbeat. As we came together, our bodies moved in perfect harmony, a dance both instinctive and new, like stars aligning in a velvet sky over the Maine coast. His touch wasn't rushed, his movements deliberate, as if he wanted to savor every second, each moment a treasure to hold close, like a shell found on a windswept beach. My hands roamed freely, exploring the strength of his arms, the breadth of his chest, the smooth expanse of his back, mapping a landscape I wanted to know by heart, like a sailor charting a new horizon. The air around us seemed to hum with energy, a quiet intensity that made every sensation sharper, more vivid: the softness of his skin, the warmth of his breath, the way his body fit against mine, all weaving together into a tapestry of feeling that enveloped us like a warm blanket. His hands glided along my thighs, his touch both firm and tender, igniting a fire that spread through me in waves like sunlight breaking through storm clouds over the ocean. Each kiss, each caress, built a rhythm both thrilling and deeply satisfying, a song that resonated in my bones, echoing through every fiber of my being. When we finally caught our breath, collapsing into the stillness of the room, he held me close, his arms wrapped around me, as if to shield me from the world, his embrace a safe harbor after a tempest. The warmth of his body pressed against mine, the steady beat of his heart like an anchor amidst the sea of emotions swirling within me, grounding me in a moment of pure connection. "You're incredible," he whispered again, his voice barely audible but heavy with meaning, like a lighthouse beam cutting through the fog. For a moment we stayed like that, entwined, the fire casting gentle shadows on the walls, their dance a quiet echo of our own. Morning light filtered through the curtains, painting golden streaks across the room like the first rays of hope after a long night. I woke to the soft, steady sound of his breathing beside me. He lay on his back, one arm draped over his head, his face relaxed in peaceful sleep, his features softened like a sculpture kissed by dawn. For a moment I just watched him, a gentle warmth spreading through me as I replayed the night before, each memory a pearl strung on the thread of my heart. He stirred, opening his eyes slowly, a lazy, boyish smile spreading across his face like the sun breaking over the horizon. "Morning," he whispered, his voice rough with sleep. "Morning," I replied, unable to suppress my own smile, my heart buoyant like a sail catching the wind. We lingered there for a while, sharing an easy silence that felt more intimate than words, a quiet communion of souls. Eventually, he sat up, running a hand through his hair. "I've gotta head out soon," he said, his voice reluctant, like a sailor loath to leave the shore. As he dressed, I walked him to the door. Before leaving, he turned to me, his eyes serious, deep as the ocean at dusk. "Last night, it meant something to me." I touched his arm, my smile soft, my heart speaking before my lips could. It meant something to me too. With one last lingering look, he stepped out, leaving the faint scent of his cologne in the air, and a sense of something new stirring within me, like the first buds of spring breaking through winter's frost. Life has a way of surprising you when you least expect it. Noah reminded me that it's never too late to rediscover the parts of yourself you thought were lost, like finding a forgotten treasure buried in the sands of time. Have you ever had a moment that reignited a spark within you? Share your story in the comments below, and if you love tales of life's unexpected adventures, let's keep this journey going together. Until next time, beautiful souls, keep chasing the sparks that make you feel alive.